All right, we are live. We've been live for 20 some seconds. Hopefully they caught Chris's amazing smile. We will let some people stream in here. See what our numbers are so far. We're already 134 in. We're not going to worry about doing the whole radio. Oh, this is bad for podcasting. Brendan could cut this. Make Brendan do a little extra work. We're not going to worry about doing the whole.
Zach's making sure the production is top notch right now.
I just wanted to double check.
Love the background music. All right. It's commitment day. Who's committing today, Zach?
Mr. Hykeem Williams of Stranahan High School, 5-star composite receiver. He's choosing between a bunch of good schools: Florida State, Texas A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Miami, and Pittsburgh. Is I missing one?
No, you're right. You nailed it.
So it's a big time decision for Hykeem. He's been a long time target for Florida State and Mike Norvell. Been to campus, I think, 4 times before, and then was last, watching FSU's team over there in New Orleans when FSU went and beat LSU in the Superdome. That was a great experience for Hykeem. But yeah, we'll be tuned in. He's announcing his decision on CBS Sports HQ. When he does go ahead and do that, we're going to have the live stream pulled up, so you guys can watch along with us and get our live reactions. We know we have a really good, reputation and record with reacting to those on YouTube. But hey, I think this will be different. I know Chris put in a crystal ball. Chris, can you delve into that prediction?
I felt pretty confident about it. I voiced that on a recent OTB episode. I felt like FSU had done a phenomenal job of kind of reading this recruitment throughout, which was, understanding what it would take in the NIL game, understanding what they had to accomplish on the field, which was winning and showing a vertical passing attack, and also just building an unbelievably good, strong relationship here. I think FSU's done a phenomenal job in this recruitment. They've really had to battle against, I would say, A&M and Pitt were the two that it's going to be down in between. If we had to give you a top 3 out of those 6 schools that Zach listed, I would say it's those. I really think A&M was the one that probably made the greatest push here down in the last 72 hours leading up to today's decision. But I think FSU will outlast them and win this one. And the reason I went with the crystal ball is I feel very confident in selecting Florida State, which is a massive credit to the job done by Ron Dugans, the job done by Mike Norvell, Ryan Bartow, plenty of others on this staff who have made Hykeem feel extremely comfortable in Tallahassee, and that it's a place for him for both playing college football and evolving as a young man in the college game. And yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I think everybody on the Knowles 24/7 site, as far as staff goes, feels pretty decent, right? Brendan put a little YouTube short up earlier and put his own crystal ball in. Dane's down there with Brendan. God only knows what kind of shenanigans they're getting into down at Stranahan High School.
No one wants to know, yeah.
No, nobody does. Yeah. That's for Brendan's.
Tune into Falk on the Road Part 2 this weekend. I'm not kidding, dude. I think they're actually going to do that. So
yeah, we
know that was a big hit. So everyone's probably stoked about that. But yeah, huge kudos to those guys for going down and helping us out with the live coverage. Well, obviously, if they get any cool stuff and post on their Twitter, we'll include it in here as well. But yeah, definitely for me, I feel confident. I'm boycotting the crystal ball feature. Not a fan of it, just with how things go in college football recruiting right now. But yeah, if I had to put one in, I'm confident. I've actually been pretty confident in this recruitment for a few weeks now. I think FSU has sat at the top since pretty much the beginning of the football season. I think this dates back to kind of that end of July visit. That was the turning point in this recruitment to me. Hykeem Williams was on Florida State's campus for about 4 days at the end of July. It coincided with a recruiting event that FSU had going on, Seminole Showcase. And Hykeem just spent a ton of time around the players, around the coaches, just around the city of Tallahassee in general. And I think that's kind of where he got really comfortable with Florida State, the school and the program itself. So that kind of, turned this recruitment around. Before that, Texas A&M, Georgia were kind of battling it out at the top. I think Florida State really entered that top picture for him. And then that only continued with Florida State's success on the field early on this season, right? They've gone 3-0. He was at that electrifying win in New Orleans for the LSU game. and watched FSU pull that one out. Watched FSU fans kind of celebrate on Bourbon Street afterwards and beforehand, and was just getting recognized a lot. And I think that visit meant a lot. And that's kind of, if FSU does go ahead and land his commitment like we're predicting, I think that kind of sealed the deal.
All right. So some folks are wondering, yes, we are going to screen share the announcement video that you can also see on CBS HQ. So if for some reason it's not working here, you can get over to CBS HQ and watch that. But I think I've got it all set up. Kev's normally the computer guy. I'm here, and I'm trying not to screw it up. So yeah, so we're gonna do our best to have that running. I think I've got it all set up for you. An interesting name that Chris mentioned, and I want Chris's thoughts on it a little bit deeper, if he's got a second to give his thoughts. Ron Dugans. This is a coach that didn't land a prospect last recruiting cycle. Had Devon Mortimer and lost him late. Was a lot riding on Kevin Coleman. He goes to another school. Speak about Ron's efforts in this recruitment.
He's built a phenomenal relationship with the kid. Hykeem wholeheartedly trusts Ron Dugans. Now, Mike Norvell has been a huge assist at wide receiver. I think that has to be brought up. I think it's not fair to the discussion not to bring that up. Mike Norvell played a big role in transfer wide receiver haul that FSU had. He's going to play a big role in FSU potentially landing Hykeem Williams. But Ron Dugans has put in a great deal of work with Hykeem Williams. They have a genuine relationship. Hykeem trusts him. Hykeem also believes in what he is capable of doing as far as helping him to evolve as a wide receiver, helping him to fill out his game. So it's a massive win for Ron and good for Coach Dugans. We beat him up like a pinata plenty in the last year for the moments that he's missed. And if he pulls this one off along with the rest of the FSU staff, then it's a major feather in his cap. And you get good players in your room look a whole heck of a lot better, and you're thought of a whole differently as a coach, as a much higher capable coach. So, it's important. It all goes hand in hand. You got to get players. The acquisition of players is the most important thing to being a good coach. You can be the best coach in the world at developing a young man. You're only going to win so much unless you get high-level players, and Hykeem Williams is a player of that sort. So it's massively important for him, and it's a good thing. And I'm all for narratives changing around these parts. I mean, we've dealt with a crappy linebacker room, and here we are this year. We've got a solid linebacker room. Just landed Blake Nicholson here a couple days ago. That's a sign of the future of that room is probably a little bit more secure than the past was. Here's another example of a room kind of flipping. Receiver room this year is much better. Much of that thanks to portal help. But Hykeem's an example of the future of that room should also be better. So it's important. But, I mean, it's big for Ron Dugans. And Nick, who I think you just put up on the screen saying needs this commitment, yeah, he does. I mean, he's got to win some at some point, and it's extremely important for him. And I think once you win one and there's some, ammunition going in the positive direction, it's probably going to be easier to land the next one, especially with a capable passing attack that vertically can work down the field that you can showcase and use to help recruit. So, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, momentum's a real thing in recruiting. We know everybody knows that from just history. History tells you that if you can get a little bit of momentum, you can have success. They've had momentum on the field. They've always done a great job in the offseason leading up to the season. And every year it's been the same story. Can they win enough games to land prospects? Can they win enough games? They're 3-0 right now. They put themselves in a position to land Hykeem Williams. Ultimately, these guys want to go to winning programs. I think most of these guys do a great job of building relationships with players for the most part and going out and evaluating guys. What has to happen is your program's got to be successful to end up getting them. And we're seeing them in a position to do that now. We're about 6 minutes out. Again, we are going to be showing there's all kinds of trolls in here. We're going to be sharing the feed live in here. You can go over to CBS HQ to also watch that. A lot of people want to talk about Hykeem's game. Zach, let's hear from you. What's the strength of his game so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a big receiver that can move. Like, you see a lot of tall and bulky receivers that are really kind of stiff. I mean, Florida State has a few of those guys, and they've had a lot of those types over the last few years. But I don't think they've had really a guy like Hykeem, right? He's 6'3", 200 pounds. He could probably even put on a little bit more muscle mass at the college level. And I just think he's a freaky athlete. He plays basketball. Andrew Ivins did a story on him this morning. Andrew Ivins works for 247 Sports. He's our Southeast recruiting analyst. He did a story on Hykeem this morning, just kind of outlining how Hykeem became a top recruit. This dude was on the swim team in his freshman year at Stranahan. I mean, like he's been involved in a ton of sports. He's like a really good contributor for the Stranahan team. I think they're like a really successful basketball program down there in South Florida as well. And he had like back-to-back double-doubles in the state championship this past season for them. And I think they actually won it. So pretty big-time multi-sport athlete. He's really explosive. I know Chris loves his game, so I'm going to have him delve into more of that. I know you watched a ton of his tape. But yeah, I really like Hykeem. I think he's one of, if not the best receiver in the country. I know he's, I think, ranked number 4 in the country according to the composite right now. But I'm a huge fan of his game.
Yeah, big athletic kid, works down the field really well, does a good job high pointing the ball with his hands, getting up and grabbing it. But I think his greatest trait is that when he catches it, especially when they run a lot of quick screen kind of action or even things to him in the backfield as a receiver, he runs like a damn running back with the ball in his hands. I absolutely love it. I mean, the way he works on the field, the vision he has to find a path, a track to work down the field, he's extremely, extremely good at that. And he's a big man who can play like an outside receiver, but he also has an extreme high-level value as a middle-of-the-field worker who can work to all levels, short, intermediate, long. He's got value everywhere you go. He's super well-rounded in that sense. He's a good ball catcher in the sense of he does a good job catching it cleanly with his hands. And a lot of that basketball athleticism you see kind of shows up too when he's, working vertically or having a high point of ball, playing for a jump ball. So I just think he's got a great athletic checklist to him, and that he's really, really good. I think he is, FSU's done a good job of pursuing some of the best in the country this year at that position. Shelton Sampson, I think, is an elite kid, especially because his top end speed's absurd. Same with Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown's a kid that's got absurd top end speed. Hykeem isn't as fast as those guys. He is bigger than those guys, and he has very, very good speed in his own right. He is capable of separating from very fast people in the secondary. So, I think he would be a massive, massive get for FSU. I love guys with good physical frames who can play like a smaller player.
Yeah, his balance really stands out for me. And if he is to pick Florida State, we do have his huddle highlights here ready that we can jump into a little bit of a scouting report. His highlights they're hit or miss because it doesn't seem like they've been a priority. There's not a full season highlight from his junior year, and his senior year highlights are like one play each.
Yeah, you sometimes see that with guys that are like already like big time recruits. Like, what do I need this for? He can go.
So anywhere. The senior highlight is Coconut Creek, one of them. It's like a 13-second clip, and all he does is drive a dude into the ground. I absolutely love it. And Mike Norvell is going to like that, and Ron Dugan is going to like that one. So,
but one of the first plays on his junior highlight tape, and it's from the first half of the season, is him catching a short pass, and then running through like 4 guys, and then almost taking his ankles out, and he stays on his feet. His balance is really, really great. His balance, his body control. These bigger guys, you think of some bigger wide receivers. At times they struggle to control their bodies and to keep their feet underneath them. He really does a great job of it. I think that's going to benefit him really well. I do think when you watch him play, you get a sense of why he's also such a really good basketball player. It's because of that athletic profile that Chris described earlier. All right, we're about 1 minute out from the CBS HQ video starting. We're going to have that on in the background. I'm not sure about audio. We'll see whether that works or not.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know if I think Hykeem is literally just arriving, so I'm thinking this probably goes closer to 2:30. But we can go into his highlights and stuff. You can pull up the stream as well. But this is South Florida commitment. It's going to take a little bit. But yeah, I think this probably goes closer to 2:30 if you guys are just wondering for planning purposes.
And again, Brendan and Dane are down there. Brendan is going to try to get us some live video from on scene. We'll see if it works or not. I also want to take a second to talk about Rising Spear. If you are not donating to Rising Spear, it'd be great. We're not paid by Rising Spear, but I'm an FSU fan. You see, I've got my jersey on. Chris went to Florida State. Zach currently goes to Florida State. I think all three of us agree that, it's a great way to help the program move forward in this new age of college football. If you can, if you're able to, if you already do, great, get in there, take part in Rising Spear. It's just going to continue to help this program push forward. Obviously in a legal way. I have to say that, but yeah, I mean, I think it's important to say though, and maybe we'll have a little special guest on later on. We'll see. All right. So Zach's telling me that we're going to be a little bit behind. He's just getting to school. Not a shock that a South Florida football player is going to have a longer commitment ceremony, but hey, I hope he enjoys it.
Maybe we pull up some of Brendan's like Twitter. I don't know if you can go on Twitter on this, but like going on Brendan's Twitter, he has some of the photos and videos from the commitment ceremony, so we can just paint the picture a little bit.
Yeah, let me pull that up here for us. This is obviously bad video, but whatever. We're live. It's a watch party. Kids are running late. Here we are. Somebody already said they don't want to see my face. They want to see the video. Screw you. You get to see my face for a little bit longer.
Trust me, guys. We're staying up to date. Brendan's letting me know what's going on over there. We're not just going to put a blank, CBS Sports thing on for you guys to watch. We'll give you we'll talk about it a little bit. And then obviously when the time comes, when he's about to announce, we'll
first check and make sure the video hasn't started at CBS HQ. Watch now.
So while my two cohorts are getting things in order on their end, I'll fill a little bit of time and space for them. So Hykeem would join Vandravius Jacobs, who is criminally underranked by 24/7, if I may say.
Tell him, Chris. Tell him, Chris.
All day Dre can play. All day Dre does it every Friday night. He does it every camp I've been to. The dude's good. He's a 4-star quality receiver. He's a slot type, but he goes up and wins the ball. He can stretch the field, and he can play to all parts of the field. And he's just a dog. He's the kind of dude that you want playing that position because he wants the ball coming his way, and he's going to make plays. So if you're pairing him with Hykeem Williams, I'm feeling pretty damn good about things right now. Goldie Lawrence from Sanford Seminole, excellent program, high-level winning program. All they do is win. They play for state titles. There's a reason for that. Excellent system, good development of their kids. Goldie falls in line with that. Goldie, to me, is a bit more of a bigger, physical kid. His speed, he's been clocked at a pretty good speed by FSU. I'm not enamored with his speed. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. I fall very much in the middle of that. But Goldie's a big physical kid who can catch the ball. He kind of fits in line with what FSU likes doing with some bigger bodies, as we've seen in the Mike Norvell era and what he did prior to his arrival at FSU with bigger bodies. So Goldie kind of fits into that. So if that ends up being a 3-man class, and I still think there's a possibility, maybe go with a fourth. Some of that will probably depend on what comes and what goes at season's end with your current roster of receivers. That's a pretty unbelievably good class, and it's by far the best high school receiving class FSU will have landed in quite some time. I think Hykeem and Zach's investigated this. I think it would be the highest ranked wide receiver commitment for FSU since 2015.
Yeah, so Florida State has not signed a receiver rated higher than Hykeem since the 2015 recruiting class, and that was 5-star wideout George Campbell. Throwback. He actually transferred out of FSU, if you guys don't remember. Went over to West Virginia and did decently over there, but he didn't pan out the way Jimbo wanted him to, I don't think. But in 2014, if you're paying, so that's according to the top or 24/7 Sports composite rankings. If you're paying attention to the top 247 rankings, the rankings that 24/7 Sports makes themselves, FSU has not signed a higher rated receiver dating back to the 2014 class in Travis Rudolph. So it's been a long time, more than half a decade since FSU signed this caliber, or I shouldn't say signed, since they've earned a commitment from this caliber of wide receiver.
And you bring up sign versus commitment. Hykeem's going to be one if he does end up committing to FSU that they're going to have to battle till December. He's expected to be an early signee, expected to be an early enrollee. So this thing will be put to bed when January rolls around. But Texas A&M isn't going to just give up. Say FSU over this next month falters a little bit. They're playing some pretty good opponents. And we all know FSU still isn't quite where they want to get to, but they're obviously on the path of trying to get there. And, if FSU falters a little bit, schools are going to come calling. They're going to try to stay active. But I think in this recruitment, and it all goes back to the fact, so FSU offered Hykeem Williams in January of 21. So his relationship with FSU has been intimate for 21 months. So he's watched them be god awful at the beginning of last year, improve down the stretch, obviously take some big leaps this year, improve drastically as an offense. He's been up here a heck of a lot in between that offer and now along those different stages. He's built a relationship with Norvell, with Dugans, with others on the staff to kind of understand what they're doing to improve, how to get there. He's got that intimate knowledge. He's like a fan in the sense where he knows, like, man, they're a hell of a lot better today than they were 12 months ago. And you feel pretty good about the trajectory of where they're going because of the fact of the improvement over the last 12 months. So there's that. So I think there's lasting power for FSU.
We got the
I think there's lasting power for FSU there. So, but with the live stream pulled up, I'll let you guys go back to it.
Yeah, they're just showing off some highlights right now.
Yeah, they're talking about him a little bit. The sound is not going to come through very good, I don't think. So if you want to hear them talking about this, I would definitely advise going to just pulling up CBS HQ in the background or whatever. We're going to get all the video here that we can.
If you don't know how to pull up HQ, if you go to our live update story on the website that I put up this morning that we're updating here constantly, there are 2 links in there, both where it says CBS Sports HQ is a link directly to the video. There's also now one where it says click here to go to the video. Those will take you directly to the video. It's free. It's streamable 24/7 every day. It will be there, and that's how you can watch it for yourself, whether it's on a phone, a computer, whatever you're using to watch a tablet, things of that sort.
Yeah, that's Andrew. Yeah, that's Ivan's right. Ivan's is discussing what's going on, obviously, down there.
Look at Ivan rocking that suit. My man, getting tailored. The hair's looking pretty good.
Look at the Hykeem cutouts in the background. Man, this is one of the most elaborate commitment ceremonies I've ever seen, I think.
Yes.
You know,
Stranahan's obviously don't. Go ahead, Chris.
I think it's a good point of Hykeem's loved at that place. This is South Florida. Kids don't stay anywhere long.
Yeah.
And Hykeem's been there his whole high school career. He's helped him win basketball state championship. He plays football. I think he's a well-liked young man. Some of the people that are very much in his life, mentor types, are people that are tied to that school heavily, teacher types, coaching types. I think it speaks to Hykeem, and that, you know, FSU does a pretty good dive on personality traits of kids now to figure out, are they going to fit? Are they kind of the, you know, ones we want for our fit family, the things that are cliches that the program lives by, but they do live by those things. I think Hykeem fits that. I think, you know, you see that. You see a turnout of massive support for him, people very happy for him, people that are there that have been intimately involved in this recruitment. I think that speaks to probably a pretty good kid you're getting in the long run who you can have some confidence that the development's going to go well, because while he's going to have people in his ear back home who are going to be like, you made this choice, you got to go do it. You need to do it at the highest level, instead of him making some rash decision and, you know, looking for the first exit door when things get a little tough. I don't think that's how it will be for Hykeem Williams at the next level.
Yeah, I think what's really cool, what I love about these, and I'm going to talk about like commitments and all that stuff in general. I think it's so neat how this seems like it's really like an all school affair. You see some of these, they have the kids come out and, you know, people are cheering in the background or whatever. This really looks like it's like a family there. Like they're all in on whatever decision he's going to make, no matter what. They're going to be happy for him. It is pretty neat to see how beloved he is at Stranahan. I know multiple of his coaches are playing a big role in all this for him as mentors and whatnot. So it seems like they're getting a good person along with a good football player, which is obviously, you know, Mike Norvell talks about culture all the time. That's what he's trying to build and continue to build and add on to. It seems like Hykeem Williams could fit right in if he does select the Noles. Some more of his highlights here that they're showing. Yeah, I mean, that's a big body kid, a young man. He's not a kid, he's a young man, but he high pointing the football. You saw, all right, come on, we don't need the Captain Morgan commercial. What the heck?
I didn't know we had these sponsors, man. What's going on?
Hey, yeah, we're probably getting in trouble right now.
Yeah, but I'm with Chris. I talked about this. Like, I think in South Florida, I'm from there. It's where I kind of first started doing this job, and I was just around that area so much, and I just saw so much of what Chris kind of alluded to, in that kids down there, it's so rare that a kid, especially of Hykeem's caliber, stays at the same high school for all 4 years of his high school, career. But Hykeem's done just that. And Stranahan's not some powerhouse. Like, it's easy for a kid to start at, St. Thomas Aquinas or American Heritage or Deerfield or any of these, traditional powerhouse schools down there in South Florida and stay there all 4 years, because obviously they're winning, they're doing these, crazy things. Oh my God. Sorry. My girlfriend's in the background, like playing an alarm or something. I don't know what's going on. But like I was saying, it's easy for those kids to, to stay at those schools. Hykeem's at Stranahan. It's not some traditional powerhouse. It says something, I think, about the character of a kid to stay there all 4 years and kind of ride it out for your school. And that's just what Hykeem's done. I think, I've known Hykeem since Florida State recruited his former teammate, who's now a freshman linebacker on the roster, Omar Graham Jr. And they made a visit to campus back during when COVID had recruiting shut down. They made a visit just on their own. They didn't meet with any staff members or anything, just kind of toured the campus themselves. And that's the first time I kind of met Hykeem. Really charismatic recruit, charismatic guy. And I think he's going to fit in really well with what Mike Norvell and the rest of the staff are trying to do in Tallahassee.
Come on, Zach. Show the girlfriend some love.
She's like asleep, or she was asleep. Now she's like crawling on the ground. You're good, Gabby.
All right, so we're obviously waiting for this. Was supposed to be done a couple minutes ago. It is South Florida recruiting, and they do operate on their own timelines, as they should, because this is a big day for the young man. He should be able to do this whenever he's ready to do it. Make it as big a spectacle as possible. Let's check in on Brendan's Twitter, see if he's got anything new.
It looks like Hykeem's on the mic now.
Oh, okay. Well, I got this as up to date as possible here. Seems we're a little bit behind. There are 1,248 people in here. Please be sure to hit the like button if you can. It's just going to continue to help us get out there into the YouTube world, get out all the algorithms, and make sure more of your fellow Noles fans know what's going on at Noles 24/7. If you're not a member of Noles 24/7, please be sure to do so. Get over there, get a subscription. Breaking news, there he is. Man of the hour. And Andrew Ivins is talking to him.
Dude, Ivins is really living this up. He's got his highlight reel in the background. I love it. This is awesome. Yeah, that's Hykeem talking right there. His mom to his right, and I'm sure that's like his friend to the left. You can maybe turn up the volume now.
There is no volume. I can't get the volume to come through the stream.
All good, all good.
Kev's probably smart enough to do that. I'm just a big dumb idiot O-line coach.
We're all good. We're all good. Dude, he pulled up in the spiffy fit. I like it.
Looking fly. Is that mom there on his right?
Yes, that is.
So to paint a little picture, the Q&A session going on right now is Ivan's asking about visits. So first they talked about A&M, and he's like, they know how to do it there. Now he's telling a story about his Pitt visits.
Let me see if I can.
Well, I want you to tell me about that trip to Texas A&M last week. What was that like?
There we go.
Man, College Station. That's probably the best college in the country. The best college campus I've ever been to. It's just the way their campus is, the way everybody. That's a real college atmosphere. Everywhere you go, you got somebody rocking Texas A&M. The coaches are amazing. The players, they all young, but they all act like they've been there. And it's a great campus.
Pittsburgh, you were also there. I called them the dark horse in this recruitment. Charlie Partridge, Tyquan Underwood. You know those guys really well. I see Mom's face right here. She's lighting up about Tyquan Underwood. The Steel City, what was it like? You visited there multiple times.
I got to tell you this story. All right, so my first time in Pitt, we got off the plane, and we're riding on our way to the campus. And I tell you, that's the most boringest place I've ever been.
It's true. It's true.
So it's horrible. And you hit the tunnel and you're like, man, where we going? It's like we're going into a whole nother world. And like the end of the tunnel is like, it just light up. it's just like the most beautiful thing you could see, and I like that.
All right, last one I'm going to ask you about, because I know there's probably producers in my ear that I can't hear right now. Florida State, man. You went up there to Tallahassee at the end of July. You
cheers in the
were
background.
for the win over LSU. What do you like about Mike Norvell and those Seminoles?
Big old smile on his face.
I just feel like, man, they work. I don't know if it's because I ain't been to too many practices or what, but that's probably the hardest working colleges I've seen, and they really they building over there for sure.
All right, Hykeem, I think the floor is now yours. I'm going to give you the mic. I'm going to get out of here, and we'll go from there, okay?
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ivans. Stay classy.
I wrote something down on my phone, but I think I'm gonna go off the dome. First, I would like to thank God. Without Him, nothing's possible. Second, I would like to thank my mom. There.
Obviously big for the young man. A lot of emotion.
We done been through so much, and it's crazy where I'm at. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just crazy where I'm at right now. Without her, I wouldn't even be here right now. Next, I'll thank all the staff, the coaches, the players, the students, and just Stranahan, man. Y'all made me a better person, a better young man, a better student athlete. I want to thank every coach that took their time out to recruit me. They changed my life forever. You only get this process once, and I know there's a lot of people that wish they was in my position. And all I gotta say is keep working. This could come any day. I never expected this. Sorry. I would like to say thank you to everybody that showed up, everybody that's been a part of my journey. And last though, I just want to thank God. I mean, He made everything happen. He made everything happen for me.
Some spoilers in the chat.
Guys, give it a second.
Nearly
In the next 3 or 4
1,700
years,
people in here.
I'll be taking my talents to. Hold that.
What? No, hell no. You got a cardboard cutout in there.
No, I don't think that's it. I ain't gonna throw it. Because they open my eyes to a lot. they started this process for me, so I can't throw it, but I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna handle it.
All right, respect for the U. Okay.
Well, let me start playing with this. Hey, bring me the jersey. Bring me that jersey. Bring me that jersey. And I'll be taking my colors to Florida State University.
That's P-Dub, man. That's
No,
P-Dub.
shoot. P-Dub in the house.
Wow.
P-Dub Rocket bringing the jersey out for him.
Custom jersey. Wow. That is awesome. Surprise appearance from P-Dub. Peter Warwick himself.
All right, so FSU beats out Texas A&M and others for top 247 wide receiver Hykeem Williams. It's on the website. It's Hykeem talking about his decision. It's a story from Andrew Ivins done on site a little bit earlier today. We're also running a scouting report, a column. Zach's running about receiver class and how FSU just landed the best one in a long time, like we talked about a little bit earlier. We got a whole lot more coming. Brendan and Dane are down there. They're going to have video of that moment with P-Dub that just happened and some more from there. I know Brendan caught up with Hykeem just before he went on the stage about FSU as well, so we'll have some of that. We got a whole hell of a lot of coverage coming because this kid deserves it. FSU deserves it. This is a big one for the Seminoles.
I hope everybody was able to hear Chris. I was not going to mute the war chant in the background. Sorry, Chris.
It's whatever. I've always wanted to have a rant with a war chant in the background. I mean, I'm here for it.
If you didn't hear Chris, make sure you get over to Knowles 24/7. Check out all the coverage, scouting reports, live in-person interviews with Hykeem. Zach's writing about the wide receiver room. All right, let's hear Hykeem right now.
Why FSU? Why are you going to Tallahassee?
The relationship I built with them is crazy. Coach Dumas, I built a great relationship. He's like a big brother, uncle. A friend, a best friend. He's one of the coolest coaches I've met. He's from down here. He's been to the league. He's broke records. He played at Florida State. I don't think there's no other coach that just could develop me as he could.
Tell me about this guy right here. Who started this relationship? One of the more unique announcements we've seen. So how did this all come about?
I wanted to change the game. I know nobody ever did it. Once I found out my decision, I was just like, what would be the best way to announce it? And what would be better than getting a Hall of Famer?
It's Peter Warwick, guys, for you that don't know. Last question I got for you, Hykeem. I ask kids this all the time. What is Florida State getting in you?
A dog, a beast on the field, but a young man off the field also. You couldn't find nobody better than me. I'll tell you that.
Well, there you have it, Hykeem Williams. Let's get this party started. Congratulations, bud.
Boy, what a show there from Stranahan High School. Peter Warwick, the College Football Hall of Famer.
So that was Marvin Snoop
handing
Menace
him
was
that Florida
also there, it
State jersey
appears.
as the four-star wide receiver
Which is pretty
Hykeem
cool.
Williams
So
commits to the Seminoles
right,
here on
we are
HQ, their
going to-
highest-rated recruit since 20.
we're going to close that out now. I'm going to share his highlight tape. We're trying to get a special guest on here with us. We will see if it happens. All right.
Oh, the huddle.
Let's take it. Hold on. That was a massive commitment. I need to take a deep breath here.
Are you okay, AB?
Look, that's the lifeblood. That's the injection this program kind of needed. They thought they were getting it last year. I don't want to talk too much about last year because whatever, it's over with. But they thought they were getting it last year in Travis Hunter. That ultimately didn't happen. You got to hear me drop a lot of F-bombs when he flipped. I'm not going to drop any F-bombs right now because I'm going to behave myself, but that's a big time get. I don't think people understand what that looks like on the recruiting, out there in the recruiting world, what kind of shockwaves that's going to send. The Florida State went in and got a five-star composite. I wasn't that dumbfounded, but I kind of knew. We kind of knew what was coming. We were obviously trying to play coy for everybody else, but to land a five-star composite wide receiver, off a 3-0 start to the season, potentially 4-0 this weekend. With let's just talk a little bit about who's going to be on campus this weekend. Chris. Jordan Hall is going to be on campus. Rod Kearney is going to be on campus. So many guys. Hold on. Brendan is trying to get in the stream. Let's see if it'll work for him. We're going to try to get him in here. Let's hope that it will work. Let's add Brendan. Brendan, can you hear us? Brendan with some live shots for the jersey. That is a humongous jersey, by the way. So again, Brendan is down at Stranahan High School. He and Dane are down there. All right, Brendan's. Come on, Brendan. All right, we're going to back him out of there. We'll leave him. Anyway, if he's trying to come back, Brendan's got a lot to do. They were a camera down there. Dane got pulled to take pictures. Brendan's obviously trying to get an interview. He's going to try to get it up close, get us some shots. As he gets, if he can maybe get Peter Warwick, that'd be incredible. Brendan, make that happen. There's P-Dub right there.
Talk about that. Like, what?
Snoop,
Dude.
how about that?
Snoop and P-Dub, man. That's awesome.
Knowles
What a moment.
24/7, bringing it to you live and in color. All right, Chris, talk to us about what this means for this weekend, though. A lot of big names showing up after a 3-0 start to watch Florida State in front of a sold-out crowd play Boston College. What's this? What kind of this commitment on top of Blake Nicholson? What kind of momentum is that for this staff?
I think it's another example of almost proof of concept, validity to what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. You've got a kid in Blake Nicholson who's going to cross the country to come here. You got a kid in Hykeem Williams who could have gone anywhere in the country. He's coming here. It drives home the point of what Mike Norvell and his staff here is trying to do. Kids are starting to believe in. And we've talked so much in the past about how the COVID year was such a hindrance to them because of a failure to build relationships in person. I think we've seen now when they're able to build a relationship with a kid, they're going to be in any and every recruitment they truly want to be in. They're going to be able to evaluate recruitment in real time to know that they're kids are bringing in this weekend a whole hell of a lot of good 24 talent. That's an excellent sign for the future and what they're doing. And truthfully, at this point in the year, you're working more on 24 than you are on 23 because a lot of 23, especially at the blue chip level, is very sewn up and locked down. But in that 23 group, you got Rod Kearney, a kid you're trying to lock back down, where it got a little uneasy here in recent weeks. Florida's made it interesting. FSU's going to try to retain him. Big-time offensive line commitment. DJ Chester, another very talented offensive lineman that they're battling the likes of Auburn and more so LSU for. He's coming in. Unofficial visit. Important there. Jordan Hall. I think Jordan Hall is one of the best players in the country. I think Jordan Hall is without a shadow of a doubt a top 50 football player in the 2023 class. There's a reason Georgia is all in on him. And hell, let's be honest, Kirby ain't missed on a whole lot of defensive linemen in recent runs. Jordan Hall is a bad man. FSU was one of his first offers. They've worked very hard. He's a kid. You just got to get him on campus. Every time he gets on a campus, he kind of likes it. It does something for him. As you're trying to hold off Georgia, who's definitely pushing for a commitment there, you got to get him on campus. And unofficial now, hopefully an official down the road, maybe another unofficial for another game. You just got to keep chipping away at it. They're not going to win them all, but they're starting to win some that they couldn't win a year or two ago. And that's an excellent sign for the future of where the program's going. And that coincides with the fact that the product on the field is drastically improved.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. They're winning games. They're starting to win recruiting battles. They've got to continue, though. They can't stop here. You can't be content at 3-0. You can't be content with a Nicholson and a Hykeem Williams. They've got to keep pushing. Zach, I'm not sure if we have the updated class rankings. Do you know that off the top of your head or where they are?
Yeah. So Florida State started the beginning of the week before the Nicholson commitment. They were number 22 in the nation. They jumped up to number 19 in the nation, I believe, after that commitment. And now what I calculated early in the week is they will be at number 15 in the country with the commitment of Hykeem Williams.
So it did actually just update. It's actually 16. I don't know if somebody else got something in between the last time we calculated or not, but they're sitting at 16. They got 1 5-star because they go by the composite ranking for the team rankings. 1 5-star, which is Hykeem, 7 4-stars. That's half of the class. 8 is blue chip up in that level, and then the other 8 are considered 3-star prospects. I'm of the opinion that at least one of those 8 should already be a 4-star. So more than half of FSU's class, in my viewpoint, is 4-star or higher. Top 16, top 15 type class right now. They have a chance of trending a little bit further up. They're going to keep some space in the class for transfers, as most schools are going to do now. That's kind of the new trend. But I think FSU deserves the benefit of the doubt there that when they do go for transfers, they hit at a pretty damn high rate.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good sign for the Seminoles and what they're trying to do in this class. I think the best thing about this class is they've really hit well on some major needs. It's kind of like last year where they overdid offensive line recruiting because they had to. This class, they've done a good job of improving that wide receiver group. They've got 2 linebackers that they, as a staff, value a great deal. I think the world of Blake Nicholson. I'm fine with DeMarco Ward. They
Mhm.
really like DeMarco Ward. So that's kind of another example of they've done a good job of addressing needs at positions that are vitally important to the success of what the team's going to have on the field.
Yeah. All right. There's some chatter that the point total is not including Keziah Holmes in the composite.
Correct. So
And
when you
that-
do the calculator, it includes Keziah Home, which moves them up further, but the actual team rankings is a high school commitments, therefore it does
Yeah.
not include Keziah Home. So yes, there is that happens. When you're messing with the calculator, you got to make sure it doesn't just throw transferring on you for those people that like to play with the calculator.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn his highlights on. I think Zach's doing a little writing. Chris, I don't know if you have a little writing to do.
I am just getting things in order on the site
Okay.
as far as stories.
So I'm going to put his highlights on, talk about them a little bit. And then we're going to get out of here unless something pops up. So these are his midseason highlights from last year. Again, his season highlights from this year are like 1 play each on tape. Okay, this is the play I was talking about earlier. Good explosiveness off the ball, catches in his body a little bit. You like to see him be a little more handsy. But then again, the balance. Let's look at the balance again, because that's what's really impressive to me. He fades outside, so he understands the concept of the route. Kind of there. The ability to stay on his feet at that point is incredible to me. And then he breaks away from the entire team. Yeah, I don't. Of course, that kid he looks like he's playing against there, maybe as a Pop Warner player. He's kind of small, but that's okay. You get an idea to see how physical he is, how athletic he is. Here again, just the speed, the power, running through arm tackles, catching the football cleanly, getting down the field. I mean, that's that's freakish. That's rare. At his size too. I've seen some people asking about like pro comps. I don't know.
Brendan threw out Devo, which I think there's a little fearness to that because of the fact that he takes so many quick throws, so many short things, and he just makes things happen with his ability to weave and cut through tight spaces and work upfield. So
He's so much bigger than Debo, isn't he?
He
though?
is. Yeah.
What's that?
And
you know who he reminds me of? AJ Brown. He reminds me of AJ Brown. Yeah. AJ Brown, who obviously joined the Eagles recently in this offseason, is a big, going to run a lot of dig routes, able to get down the field, but not the fastest guy in the world, but plays like a running back after he catches a ball. That's what Hykeem seems to do. Nice little start and stop. Plays through the physicality of the coverage. Yeah. Well, that's a big time play. Seems to catch it pretty clean. Here he is again. This field doesn't even have lines. Nice over-the-shoulder catch. Tracks the ball well. A lot of times these big guys aren't the cleanest catchers. They don't track it well. They don't have the body control. You continue to see the body control here on plays. Tracking the ball, high pointing it there. Becoming a basketball player at in the red zone or in the end zone. There's a lot to like.
Ron Dugan's firing off a donk tweet out here.
It's back. It's back.
The donk is back. Did the donk
Take,
get an upgrade?
take your lap, baby. Take your lap. The kid
Absolutely.
loves Dugans. Dugans is a huge reason why he's coming here. He
Does this do
reiterated
any-
that exact point to Brendan today, in fact, in some of the quotes that we got.
There's a run after the catch again. He's really good with the ball in his hands. Does this help with any other wide receiver types? Jalen Brown, who's committed to LSU, a Shelton Sampson, who's also committed to LSU, as their season hadn't started hot. Florida State was in the mix for both of those guys. Does landing a Hykeem Williams speak something to them that maybe gets them re-interested in Florida State?
I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I've not poked around on that. That's something I would have to check further. FSU's kept both of those guys warm. Gabe Fertitta obviously has a great relationship with Shelton Sampson from his time back at Baton Rouge Catholic. And then in Jalen's case, there's a lot of ties there for FSU. He has a good relationship with the staff. He's also very close to Lamont Green Jr. and his father, who, Lamont Sr. is one of the biggest FSU fans you're going to find under the sun. So, there's connections there, but I've not heard anything of, backroom talk of it being imminent or very likely. But FSU is going to try to chip away at that. If things keep going south in Baton Rouge down the stretch, say the SEC schedule goes miserably for them, then it might get a little interesting, especially for a kid in your home state. I think Shelton will be a much more difficult one. He's right there in the backyard. I know NIL wise that there's been a lot done that I think kind of is to fasten him down for LSU.
I like that the last minute of this highlight tape is him just blocking the crap out of people. Huh. This is pure joy for me right now. I don't need to see him catch him. I just need to see him blocking. All right. So that's Hykeem Williams. Again, that's the first half of his junior year. There's no post halfway point highlights. There's not a lot from this year. Kind of is what it is. This tends to happen. Did he do the 7-on circuit? Was he active in that?
Yes and no. He plays with South Florida Express a decent bit, but he wasn't like at every event. But when they have like big events, he'll be there.
Okay.
So to add on what's on the site, Zach just added the video of P-Dub doing the deal with Hykeem. If people missed it, if they want to see that, that's now up there for them to check out. Pretty cool to see. We're going to obviously continue to have more throughout the day, especially from on site. Those guys are their head spinning at the moment, but we'll get things organized here in the next 90 minutes or so. It's a good day for FSU. Coach Norvell kind of nailed it with his tweet. He said that FSU added a big time playmaker, and what's the cliche we love to hear about FSU's offense? What is it? It's built for playmakers. Well, here you got one. So here we go. We've seen what they can do with a guy like Johnny Williams. Johnny's a talented dude with great catch radius who's getting a hell of a lot better with every day of practice. I think Hykeem Williams is a tad bit ahead of where Johnny Wilson was when he walked into the college game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right. On that note, we've been here for 53 minutes. We got to see the incredible football player, Hykeem Williams, wide receiver, commit to Florida State. I think for us, we're going to call it a day. Again, be sure to get over to Knowles 24/7. There's going to be a lot more coverage tonight from this commitment, and there's going to be a ton of coverage from the weekend. All the guys that Chris mentioned earlier are going to be on campus. Zach's going to be there getting all kinds of reactions. Chris will be there. Brendan will be there. I don't know, Dane, will Dane be there also?
If he survives the ride home.
If he survives the fork in the road with he and Brendan. So be sure to get to Knowles 24/7. Check out all the content for the three of us, for Zach, for Chris, for myself, for Brendan, for Dane, for Trey, for Kev, for everybody here at Knowles 24/7. We love you guys. Thanks for coming by. There were so many of you in the live stream. We might do these again for more big time players. Go Knowles.